Okay. All right. So hold on just a second, and we are going to somehow hold on. Okay, we are recording. Okay, welcome to Starcaster Radio, where we are creating a star community here on planet Earth. Our mission is to create heartfelt relationships in our high frequency state of being. So I am Jules, and I have Barbara and Naomi with me. Welcome, ladies.
Wow, yay. Oh.
So we were just kind of thinking today about what we wanted to discuss. So what we're going to discuss is being a high-frequency being in a third-dimensional reality. But before we start, did we want to do some sort of prayer of protection, or did either of you have something that you wanted to bring in today around that?
Oh, I'll do the prayer of protection.
Okay, great. Thank you, Naomi.
In the name of the power and the presence of the universe, protect us from harm and all unenlightened spirits. With the help of our spirit guides and higher souled selves, let us illuminate our thoughts so we might reflect the radiant glory of all that is. Kadosh, 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 Adobe Atesebio.
Oh, thank you. That was beautiful. Okay, so we were going to discuss being a high-frequency being in a third-dimensional reality. So just to set up kind of a visual of what I'm talking about, I want you to kind of visualize a thermometer. So there's different degrees on the thermometer, and 30 degrees isn't any better or worse than, let's say, 100 degrees, and they're just different frequencies. And the way that we live our lives, and because we are frequency beings, we register either consciously or unconsciously what it feels like to be in resonance with other frequencies. And when we're in resonance, we feel connection, we feel in flow, we feel safe. But what we're finding is there's, certain people that were born at an extremely high frequency. So let's say the third dimension vibrates from 50 degrees to 0 degrees. And within those degrees or those frequencies, there is what we call social consciousness, or the third dimensional matrix. And then above the 50 degree line is, where we have spirits or people that are resonating naturally in a higher frequency, but they're struggling to find connection with other beings. And so we're lowering our frequencies in order to have connection. Do either of you want to expand on that?
Well, I think that just you want to have this feeling of homeostasis. You want to just feel balanced. So when you're with someone, you just want to meet your frequency somewhere in the middle so that you can relate to each other. So if that means lowering your frequency, that's just kind of what you do to connect to someone.
Right. So what I kind of call it and I don't mean this in like a negative way, but I call it like bottom feeding. And I call it that because I feel the energy actually kind of go out of my feet and spread across to the other person, and I'm looking for a frequency that they hold that I can recognize and connect to. And once I'm connected to that frequency, and the only way I can hold that connection is to lower my natural frequency. And so when I'm lowering my natural frequency in order to connect to this other person, I feel drained. I feel like I'm giving away what I like, my higher frequency, in order to connect. And what I like, the feeling that I get in my heart is like kind of it's self-betrayal, and like, not to be like make it this extreme, but it really does feel this extreme to me, is that it's like prostitution, that I'm giving something away that I don't want to, so that I can feel connected to another person. And then that can play out in behaviors too, like I have to be nice in order to connect, or I can't be myself in order to connect. And when I trace back the energy pattern, it was actually started when I was born, because I realized right away that my frequency was not in resonance with not just my mom and dad, but just with normal society. And the only way that I was going to be able to connect, and at the time connection meant survival, it was for me to lower my frequency.
And I would like to also say that when you were talking about that, it brought back memories of when I was younger and knowing instinctively that I had to be like a chameleon. And in order to participate in childhood relationships, that I had to be one way with one person and a different way with a different person. So it's like I felt like I was losing who I was because I couldn't be myself. And I identified that also as a survival mechanism so that I could interact and be a part of that community of children or whatever it was at the time it was happening. So I think this is a really, really important thing to bring to the forefront of this discussion, and I really appreciate you, Julie, doing the work and coming up with this information, which has been very beneficial for me to look at that. I always knew that's what I did, but I did not identify why I did that on this level. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. And, and I think that, we all, like you were saying earlier, we all know that we're supposed to stand in our power and to be ourselves. And, and I think it's such an easy thing to say, but when we take away, just everything and strip it down to, and that's why I keep going back to the frequency pull, like when we strip it all down, like really what we're being called to do is to resonate above this 50-degree mark. And I almost see it like at this 50-degree mark, and 50 degrees is like a pretty high frequency for, this third dimensional reality. But in order for us to break through that blanket, and, and I hear people say all the time, like, oh, I've been doing this work for 30 years and I just can't get past this program, or I just can't create what I want to create. And I really feel like the reason that that's not happening is because we're stuck underneath that 50 degrees, or we're resonating right in the 50 degrees. And in order for us to resonate in our home frequency that is, let's say at 75, the only way that we can do that is to not consciously connect or unconsciously connect to that third dimensional matrix or social programming. And so what's being called of us is to go kind of like mentally into the void and create from that unknown space. And by doing that, we're allowing our home frequency to come in and create from something that we haven't created from before because it hasn't been created yet. Like that's how we're creating this new earth reality, is by creating from that unknown. And what our mind wants to do is to, like when we start creating, it's like, oh, what did I do last time? Or what did this person do? Or how does this feel? Like, oh, I need to like find something that I can connect to so that I can feel quote unquote safe. But really what's being called of us is to not feel safe and to do it anyways. And that's how we're going to create this new matrix of consciousness in the resonance above 50. Does that make sense?
No, I think it totally makes sense. Can we ask for a download for trust to help us step into the unknown and create out of
that?
So let's just put our hands at our heart center and take in a few breaths and ask for the download of trust.
I ask for the download of trust.
I ask for the download of trust.
I ask for the download of trust.
So when we're doing that resistance of that I'm not going to survive if I don't connect to others comes up again. So I'd like to ask for the clearing or the disbursement, just deleting that pattern of I need to connect in order to survive.
And that is such a subtle program. It's easy not even to recognize it exists. So we want to bring this program to the forefront and just shine light on it. That it's okay to be alone. We are still going to survive. And not only survive, but thrive when we function at our home frequency.
Absolutely. And I think that's like another download that I would like to ask for is just, for guidance and clarity on how we hold our home frequency in a third dimensional world that's naturally vibrating at a lower frequency than what we're vibrating, and how we can assist and in a very compassionate for ourselves and others, assist this ascension through that 50-degree mark. So I'd like to ask for a download of just clarity, guidance, support, and helping all these high frequency beings to fully step into what they're here to do.
So I'm just kind of hearing an I am statement around this. I just want to give myself permission to vibrate at my home frequency. I am that I am. I am my home frequency.
Oh, I love that.
Me too. Great.
And as we're talking about connecting to our home frequency, I'm just starting to feel like my heart is expanding when it's my truth.
Yes, almost like you've been released from some invisible boundary that you would not step over for fear that you wouldn't belong or something. I'm getting the same feeling that this is going to be a really important thing for us to be able to release this programming that we have been under since we were young as to how we needed to survive. So I think it's a very important step towards bringing the light into the earth and bringing the knowledge of how we need to recognize this and bring it to the forefront so that we can acknowledge that we want to get past this boundary that we've set for ourselves.
Absolutely. And I think that's like so perfectly said because, so naturally I want to, go into the victim mode of like, oh, I can't be around people because I get drained and, as if it's like their fault, but it's not their fault. It's my fault. And so like, as I do that, I'm able to really move the energy because when I follow the energy pattern, I'm able to move it past my heart, no problem, but where the energy gets stuck is in my throat, and it's that I'm lying to myself and others by not resonating in my high frequency, but then I can bring it up to my third eye once I can move past that program. And it's like in that release and having it go into my third eye is that that's when I can kind of feel that place of moving out of victim into my power, because it's just that place of like, I don't have to do anything. I just have to be who I am. So I don't have to connect to this person on the same frequency. It's all I have to do is be. That's it. Just resonate where I naturally resonate.
Yes.
So move the energy up from your heart through your throat to your third eye. I get a lot of resistance in my throat as well. And so just thinking about the throat being your fifth dimension or the fifth chakra, and we're entering, the higher dimensions, the fifth dimension, and 5 representing in numerology freedom, travel, and change. I want to ask for a clearing in my throat so that I can accept the freedom, the travel, and change that this energy is moving through me.
I love that. And it goes back to kind of what Barbara was just saying about like creating this place of freedom for ourselves to just be who we are. So yes, let's just ask for the clearing in our throat of any frequencies that we're holding that are holding us back from fully stepping into our home frequency, and feeling the acceptance in that and feeling safe in that frequency of being our home frequency, and feeling safe and just still walking in this on planet Earth, but fully resonating in a dimension much higher, just having that clarity and guidance, but most of all, just this feeling very safe and grounded in that experience.
And may I add one thing I was thinking of that came to that we are also, by opening up this throat chakra so that we may speak the light without, that we may transfer our thought of the light and of a higher energy without intimidation. Because I feel like that a lot of the times when I speak, maybe I'm not speaking the right words that allows that person to hear what I'm saying. What they hear is that you are saying something they don't resonate with. So I don't exactly understand how to do that, but just to put that out there, that thought out there, that we will be guided to say the appropriate thing so that whoever we're interacting with can resonate with that thought pattern and that frequency.
I love that, and I think, just to expand on that, that's more and more, I think, where we're moving into, and this will be, one of those experiments, because we're moving into a dimension that have not consciously experienced yet before, but that are so much of what we're saying is said from our frequency and not from our words. And so, like, let's expand on that even further, is that the frequency, that our home frequency holds the words so that when they are received by others, they are received in a very loving and a compassionate way.
Perfect.
Yeah, I feel that. That's great.
So if we can broadcast our home frequency, then truth will come out of our mouths, and those are the words we're going to speak because we're being who we were born to be.
And when you say that, it just seems like it should be such a natural, like, thing that we would just always do. And that's really why I am so happy to have this platform where we can connect high-frequency beings with high-frequency beings. Like, this is like normal conversation that would happen every day, that, you know, the more that we can connect to others in this high frequency, the more we're creating that new matrix. And
yes.
And I just love that. It's such a powerful thing.
I think we don't truly realize just how powerful it is. I know I don't at this point, and I know there's more to come, and I feel energized by the fact that we've been guided to this place. Thank you, Julie, again, because you had the insight and you got the message, and you're acting on that message, and I think that is very powerful for us all to, when we get these messages, to not dismiss them, or to not say, or to say that, oh, well, I don't think we can, I can't go there, or whatever our excuse is. I think it's important to recognize the profound messages that we're all getting, and I know we're all getting them. We're just possibly not listening to those messages.
And I agree. That's huge.
Now is the time.
It is time, you know, and I'll just share really quick this I heard yesterday that when we're supposed to be listening to a message, that we're normally given the message 3 times in 3 different ways. And I'll just share, I had a client come yesterday, and she was talking about her needing a taxi at an airport, and she landed really late, and so her first thought, or her first hit was, oh, I should see if there's transportation because normally the airport is closed already. So she looked out and she saw a line of taxis. So she decided to walk out, and her second hit was, oh, I should tell a taxi driver that I'm going to need a ride, but she dismissed it. And then the third hit was, I should write down the number. So she went back inside, got her luggage, and she came back out, and all the taxis were gone. So if she would have, you know, followed the hits, she would have known, like, oh, I need to get a taxi. But she still was able to recover because the last hit was to write down the number, and she did. So she was able to call and get a ride. But I just think, like, that intuition and just, like, listening to those really subtle messages is going to be, it's going to just keep getting more and more important for us because those little messages are coming from above that 50-degree mark.
And the more we honor those messages and listen, the easier it's going to be to get more messages. They're there. We just need to learn how to tune into them.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yes, totally. I'm recognizing that also in my life. How the more I listen to those little subtle messages, the more messages I get, or the more messages I hear. So it's like anything else. It's pay attention. When you pay attention to something or you ask for something, then the message, you're getting the answers. It's just a matter of listening. And I'm hoping that what this podcast will do is bringing forth these subtle things that we're talking about, but are so, so important for our journey into the light and our journey to shed the light for all of those who have been sleeping and who are wanting to wake up, and they're just waiting for this information. I feel blessed.
I do too. Thank you, you guys. Okay, well, I think that we've just really had some amazing information come through today, and I just want you guys to know how much I enjoy spending this time, and how grateful I am to start creating this community of the stars here on planet Earth.
Me too.
I am too, and you know what I would love to do? Can we just, like Barbara said, what we put our attention to and shine the light on, it just grows. So could we do some homework this week of shining the light on the matrix for the new Earth?
Oh, I love that. Yes, and we can even expand on the last podcast of, stepping onto that light foundation. So we're stepping into the light of the new Earth, and we are creating a matrix. And we are also, I just like to span that even further, is that I just want to open my heart and just shine this light to connect to all those who are ready to be part of this family.
Perfect.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And what I'm hearing when you just said that, Jules, is that each person might feel like their light is a flashlight. But really and truly, every soul has a light code inside of them. And when we put all of these light codes together, all of these flashlights together, we are creating the new sun of the new Earth.
Ooh, I love that.
Ooh, I love that. Beautiful. That's perfect, Naomi. Perfect.
Yay. Every single person is just so important and loved and needed. And now is the time to just be. Be your home frequency.
Be your home frequency. So that is our intent. I am that I am, yes.
I am that I am.
I love that. Until next time, let's all hold our home frequencies with the intention of connecting and creating the new Earth reality. I am that I am.
I am that I am.
I am that I am.
Well, I love you all so much, and I can't wait to do this again next week, and we will join our star family once again.
Can't wait.
Guys.
Perfect. Love you all.
Love
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Namaste.